Hello everyone, welcome to my final video for the time being. I'll explain more about that later. Today's Outhouse episode is Yesterday's Lie. Spoilers! If you have not seen the episode, watch it first, then come here. This episode did not go in the direction that we were all expecting it to go, but it was still a really good episode regardless. It starts at Luz's house, and the fake Luz is clearing out some of Luz's stuff. You know, she's putting it all in a box and leaving it out on the side of the road. Camilla, she seems unsure about this, but Luz is like, well, I changed a lot at camp. I'm not really interested in this stuff anymore. Camilla is wearing the Beta Luz jacket, which is a good little production throwback. Or, alternatively, Beta Luz is Camilla when she was younger. Camilla and fake Luz, they find a rabbit stuck in a trap, and they free it, and Camilla's like, this is the fifth one this week. Which, that becomes important later on. Luz sees the real Luz in her mirror, and there's a jump scare, and then the intro. Luz and Ida and King and Hootie, they're outside the owl house, and they're looking at the portal door they've constructed, and it's pretty shabby looking, but once they add the Titan's blood from Amity's glove to it, it actually manages to work. Kind of. You'll see. It's like really weird and misshapen, and Luz has a rope tied around herself, and Ida and King are holding on to it, and it's basically that if the portal starts to collapse, they'll pull Luz back. Luz winds up in this weird portal cube dimension, and it has like liquid in it, so that's what that shot of Luz rising from the water is. Yeah, she can use these cubes to enter reflections and can communicate with the outside world that way. So she holds one of the cubes and asks to see her mom, and she sees Camilla, and it's like, oh, she's so happy. And then she sees fake Luz, and she's like, an evil doppelganger must fight. If there's like an overview of Luz's house, and you see like an old family photo of young Luz and Camilla and Luz's father, and his face is obscured, which I can only assume is for spoilery reasons. We go back to where the episode began with Luz pointing at fake Luz through the mirror, and it becomes pretty clear that this fake Luz is not evil at all. She's like, you're from the demon realm? No, don't take me back. I don't want to go back. Fake Luz's voice is provided by Michaela Dietz, aka Amethyst. Fake Luz runs to that cabin in the woods and hides, but there's a compact mirror in there, so Luz is still able to keep in contact with her. She introduces herself as V, but there's a little slip up at the beginning, and you can tell that V is really just standing for 5, like Roman numeral 5, because she doesn't really have a name, just has a number. V is adorable, and I want to give her a hug because she deserves all the hugs in the world. She just wanted a place to stay, and she found that Luz was missing, and just decided to take her place. Not for any malicious reasons, but just so she could belong somewhere. She needs magic to stay looking like Luz, so she kind of gets stuck in this transitional form where she looks mostly like Luz, but her eyes aren't the same, and she has like these spots on her, and her ears are blue. They see some newspaper clippings on the floor in the cabin that shows that Ida caused some disturbances in the human world, and they're like, maybe Ida left some magic behind for you. Let's go investigate. And as they're leaving, you see that there's a security camera that was watching everything. We finally see some more of the human realm, which, we didn't really get much of in the first episode, so it's cool to just explore a familiar world. V enters this coffee shop and asks if any witches were there recently, and she's like, are you involved with this guy who keeps leaving pamphlets? And V is like, no, I was asking about her, and points up to a picture of Ida on the banned people list, and you see she went there as Marilyn, which Grungle Stan's ex-wife is named Marilyn, so all those theories that Ida is Grungle Stan's ex-wife, I'm not saying it's true, but they're not really giving us anything to deny it. Her aim is getting better. V, she meets up with some people that she met at Reality Check Camp, and sees that they have Hexas Hold'em cards that they're using as tarot cards, and this girl gives V a reading that it's like, oh, you're running away from a past that was unfriendly to you, but one of these days your past will catch up with you, and it won't be pretty, and something like that. And she's really distressed, and it's like, where'd you get those cards? And it's like, oh, I got them from that historical society back there. Yeah, apparently Ida just sold a bunch of them there, and the guy there is like, oh yeah, I can get some for you. V complains that Luz had a life and she chose to run away from it, whereas she never had anything. She's a basilisk whose kind went extinct, but the Emperor's Coven experimented and brought them back to life. Basilisks, they feed on magic, so the Emperor's Coven was studying them for that purpose, because I guess they could hunt out wild magic, I suppose, and destroy it by eating it. V fled. She snuck into the human realm when Luz and Ida are first meeting in the first episode. She disguises herself as Luz and runs into Camilla, who apparently just found out she had the day off. So she's like, oh, I'll drive you to camp. And V is like, yeah. Finally, a place for me. V finds this back room with a big conspiracy board, and there's a bunch of old pictures from the witch trials and some newer pictures of Ida, and there's a trap and she gets stuck. The guy who runs the Historical Society, he set the trap. He's been trying to catch witches and demons. He's really just a conspiracy nut because he thinks they're from Mars and they're trying to steal human teeth. And you see in the background there's a board where he has the Flat Earth Society member. The show already poked fun of this type of people in season 1, but this episode is really going to say that if you believe in this stuff, you're an idiot. This guy encountered Ida's owl beast form in the past, so kind of became obsessed with trying to publish his findings on YouTube. Luz manages to get in contact with Camilla. She tells Camilla the whole story, but Camilla just thinks it's a joke, and is like, oh yes, I'll head over to this place to get your friend. I'll play along with your story. Camilla shows up. She manages to convince the guy to let her into the room. Apparently Camilla is a vet, which we all assume she was like a human doctor, but really I guess that's just our fault for just assuming medical clothing equals human doctor. The guy shows Camilla stuff about witches and shows that 2 brothers were lured into the demon realm in the past. Now, I'm going to say these 2 brothers, one is Philip, one is Belos. And Hunter is a descendant of Philip, which does legitimately make Belos his uncle. When I say descendant, I don't mean directly descended, because the last episode implies that Belos made Hunter in some way. So, perhaps DNA from Philip or one of Philip's descendants was used in this process, which still would make Belos Philip's uncle, but not really. You get what I'm trying to say, right? And it supports the fact that in the last episode, Belos explicitly stated he's been to the human realm, but it seems like he hasn't been there in a while. I think the theory that Philip is Belos might die out and be replaced by theory that they're brothers, since that's kind of where this episode is going with it. Camilla still doesn't believe anything, but the guy shows her that security footage he captured, and Camilla's like, oh damn. She sees how much distress V is in and sets her free. She, like all powerful Hispanic moms, takes la chancla and beats the guy up, and the guy's like, I'm the good guy here. And Camilla's like, a lot of people like to say that, and it's just the implication that this is old feeling she still has from Luz's father, who might have not been the best person, which, I mean, just the face being obscured and what Camilla says right before she beats this guy up, I don't know if I like this. Camilla and V, they make it back to Luz's home, and Camilla gives V some Hexus Hold'em cards she found, and now there's some magic for V to eat to maintain the disguise. Camilla's proud of how much Luz has grown and matured, but she gets mad and upset when Luz mentions she wanted to stay in the demon realm. She asks if she was so bad of a parent that Luz would rather stay in this crazy demon world than with her. Luz starts getting pulled back, but Camilla makes Luz promise that she'll stay when she manages to get back to the human realm. Luz gets pulled back, and the portal collapses, and Ida and King are like, did you manage to get in contact with your mom? And Luz is like, yeah, she really wants to meet you, which is a lie, obviously. And the episode ends with Luz having a very troubled expression on her face. Luz wouldn't want to go back on a promise she made with her mom, so I think this may negatively impact her relationships with her friends. Like, maybe she won't want to go as steady with Amity as Amity would like, because she's like, we're gonna have to be split apart someday. And I don't know, and that could cause drama, angst, relationship problems for them in the future. I think Camilla and V may try to find a way into the demon realm. I think Camilla will change her mind when she meets Luz's friends and sees how much of an impact she has on them. It's like, oh, Luz managed to find people who make her happy. Luz has a girlfriend who makes her happy, and Luz makes her girlfriend happy. And if Camille meets Amity and still says Luz has to go back, well, yeah, that might be when Amity goes into abomination form for the first time. So yeah, the owl portal, as I'm gonna call it, broke, but the original portal, which Bellows fixed, should be operational soon because of the key with the Titan's blood. And Hunter might not have long to live, since it's implied that Bellows needs to sacrifice him for, not necessarily for the portal to work, but at least for the Day of Unity. Or maybe he has to be sacrificed for the portal to work, I don't know. I mean, there's definitely going to be major death this season, and it might not just be Hunter. I think if Camilla and Ida meet, then they'll fight over who gets to sacrifice themselves for Luz. Maybe both will happen. I mean, probably not. That would be really sad, but one of them might sacrifice themselves for Luz, and, you know, which will be sadder? The mom she's had for most of her life and hasn't been able to be with for so long, or the new person who Luz has warmed up to so much, which will hurt more. This is the end of an era for me, because I'm going to be moving into college dorms in a little over a week, and it'll be a brand new experience for me, because I'll be living by myself, and I'll have to figure out everything by myself, and I'll have to be commuting and doing all this other stuff, and be surrounded with people I don't even know, and you know, my schedule will probably be really packed, and if I have to cut out videos, then so be it. I'll probably upload some more videos at some point. I don't know when that'll be, but we'll see. Thank you for all your support over the years. It means so much to me. It makes me really happy that people enjoy the content that I create. And of course, thanks for watching.